Consider a circle. This is called the circumference, and this is called the diameter. This is the center, and half the diameter is called the radius. If we join 2 points on the circumference together with a straight line, this is called a chord of the circle. This half of the circle here, let's just see whether we can colour it in. Yes, is called a semicircle. Oops. And if we take an area like this, let's not do it in blue, everything will disappear. This is called a sector. If we consider an area cut off by a chord, that's called a segment. So let's take a circle and let's take a diameter and let's draw a line to the circumference. If this is the middle, we can call it O. We can call this end A, this end B, and this point C. Because this is now a semicircle, this angle here is always 90 degrees, and this angle here is always 180 degrees. Why? Well, simply because thousands of years ago, people decided that the best way to divide up the whole of a circle at the center was to break it into 360 degrees. Now you might ask, why did they choose such a funny number? Why not choose 100 or 1,000? Well, there's actually a very, very good reason, and it goes like this. If we take a circle, and I'll get one right in a minute, then if we draw a triangle like this inside the circle, and these are supposed to be equal lengths, these sides, then if we consider drawing these lines to the center of the circle from the edges, from the vertices, this is called a vertex, then these angles divide the circle up into 3. And because of it's 360 degrees, they're all 120. Previous picture, 360 divided by 3 is 120. Add right at the beginning with 3 equal sides. So you can see that 360 can be divided by 3. If we take a circle and we draw a square inside it, then these lines divide the circle into 4 lots of 90 degrees. 360 divided by 4 is 90, just as in one it can be divided by 4. Now, funnily enough, well, actually not funnily enough, because that's one of the reasons why they chose it. If we carry on, and this gets a bit tricky, and draw a 5-sided figure, oops, this is called a pentagon. You may have heard the word because the central military facility in the United States, where they run all their armed forces, is called the Pentagon, and it's in Washington. If we take the pentagon and we join its vertices to the center of the circle, then they divide it into 72 degrees, because 360 divided by 5 is 72. Now you may notice that for all the numbers we've chosen so far, including the diameter, which is 2, 3, 4 and 5, all these numbers divide exactly into 360. And it can be divided by 5 and carry on. We're going to fail in a couple of goes, but so far everything works. If we take a hexagon that's got 6 sides, equal sides of course, doesn't have to have equal sides, but for purposes of this we're making them regular hexagon. This is a hexagon, which means it's got 6 sides, and we join its vertices to the center. Then we find 360 divided by 6 is 60 degrees. So each of these angles is 60. And in fact, each of these triangles, like that one, whoops, that's no good, is it? That's not what we wanted at all. That's better. Each of these is a triangle just like, and it can be divided by 6. It can't actually be divided by 7. So 360 can't be divided exactly by 7. But you'll be pleased to hear it can be divided by 8, and if we do it, we obviously will divide it up into 8 pieces, and each of these angles will then be 45 degrees, because 360 divided by 8 is 45. And we can carry on. I'm not going to draw it, but it turns out that we can divide 360 by, well, we've seen it can be divided by, well, obviously 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 6, not by 7, so we'll cross that one out, but then we can go on by 8, by 9, because 360 divided by 9 is 40. It can be divided by 10. It can't be divided by 11. No. But we haven't finished. It can be divided by 12. Not by 13 or 14. But it can be divided by 15. 18, 20, 24, 30, 36, and we haven't even finished. As well as what? Well, all sorts of numbers, 54, 60, 72, 80, 90, 120, 180, and quite a lot more. So 360 is a wonderful number because it has so many things that divide into it. And that's why the ancients decided that 360 is cool.